Hey there, Anime Addicts. Well, as you know, this podcast is now independently funded, and we are happy to be able to bring you a podcast that is full of commercials for all sorts of different things that you don't really need, like cat food and underwear and, underwear. It's not very interesting to hear people talk about underwear. But with the help of all of the Anime Addicts, we are able to run this podcast the way that we would like to, as we have been for 11 years now, and now over 500 episodes, so we are really getting up there. Guys, just like we've been here for you all along, you've been here for us every step of the way, and we appreciate that. If you want to continue supporting the podcast, you can always help out. We appreciate every little thing you can do. You can head over to aaapodcast.com/join our Patreon to sign up to get our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties, a total of 8 exclusive podcast episodes just for you every month for helping out the podcast. And also, if you don't want to sign up and you just want to help out a little bit, you can go to our website and go to along the top and just click the donate button, throw a couple of shackles our way, and we always appreciate everything. And if you know what, and if you can't contribute, we're fine with that too. We still love having you. We all love you guys, our wonderful anime addicts, and we'll be here for you regardless. And hope that you can continue to enjoy the podcast. And now on with the show.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aaapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome to episode 546 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. I am Mandi, and I am joined by 2 other hosts who are all here to make your anime addiction worse. So, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Mason, hello.
Hello there. I am so excited to be here today, ready to talk about anime with my friends, and excited to have you guys on board.
We have a lot of anime to talk about.
A lot.
And also Mitsuki, hello.
Anime, I like it a lot. And I'm gonna pour this Monster Energy drink because I'm not already hyper enough, and I you know what, I just can't introduce myself without a sip.
Mitz is coming on a hot day when he's already got the Pope hat on.
The Pope hat is on. Mitsuki here. We're stomping Moe. We got people in the pews. We got them. We're sending around the collection jar. It's not cheap funding the church. Lots of moe to be tossed into the pit. We're short-staffed. Things are tough. But you know what? We're social distancing over at the Church of Mitsugi, so we're doing what we can. Welcome to the podcast. Woo!
'Tis the season.
So if you would like to follow us, go on Twitch, and we are live every Sunday at 5 p.m. So follow us to get updates on when we are streaming. Also, please go to all of our social media accounts, Facebook, Discord. We are everywhere. You can also go to our website, aaapodcast.com, to click the Discord link where you can join up. What do we have an update on our little special pumpkin thing?
No update. You still have just about 2 weeks to get it in. Deadline is still the 31st. So go to Discord, go to Twitter, submit your anime-themed pumpkins, and we hope to see you there. You'll get one more reminder, and then you'll be spending the next 51 weeks being like, man, I really wish I would have participated. Do it, cowards, and we'll see you there.
Oh, shit. You are little pumpkins. So cute. Oh, little kabochas.
So what are we doing today? We are going to be talking about all of the anime that we have been watching lately, which is a lot for Mason and I.
An unhealthy amount, if we're being honest with ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. And then we will be doing our first round of fall impressions. We are doing impressions on, this is a name, Kami-tachi ni Hirowareta Otoko?
I made a typo. I'm so sorry. It's Kami-tachi.
Is that what that is? I don't know.
Kami.
It went
it's
from
Kami.
tuna jaw to God.
Yeah, or many turtles.
It does say Kami.
Oh, that's Kame. Okay.
It did say comma at one point. You were wrong.
Yeah.
You just corrected it.
Yeah, I corrected it. Sorry.
And also the Dragon Quest Dai's Big Adventure, King's Avatar Season 2, Yashahime, Princess Half Demon, and Talentless Nana. So stay tuned. Are we ready to do some big news of the week?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Well, Japan just can't seem to have any fun anymore, and I'm not very pleased about it. So, Japan is, Halloween is a thing in Japan now, and, they're every single year they're adopting more customs from different countries, and complete with massively drunken street parties with costumes and, just flipping over cars and just things that Japanese people don't even do. It takes Halloween to turn Japan into just a bunch of ruffians. So, but mostly like cosplay events and trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treating, of course. And since 2013, get this, the Yakuza, who honestly, I want to say they're not that bad of organizations, but really it's just because they don't like participate in random crimes. They're very organized, and you're not going to see like a Yakuza like shaking down an old man on the street, right? Type of thing. To the extent that like police officers have hired the Yakuza to work security for events when they're like short-staffed. But since 2013, the Yakuza of the Yamaguchi Gumi, I think they're down in Kobe area, have been throwing trick-or-treating parties for little kids, which I think is like pretty cute. You can just see like these big Yakuza guys in like their suits, and it's dropping like cigars into the treat bags. But recently, the Hyogo Prefectural Assembly made this illegal. So apparently, criminal organizations cannot give gifts to minors or invite them onto the grounds of their facilities or even correspond with them legally. And they've been doing this, as I said, for 7 years. And so my question to you guys is are they being fair? Like, should the Yakuza be able to put on like what have probably been harmless events since they've been going on now uninterrupted for 6 or 7 years for kids, for trick-or-treating? What say you?
I feel like the Yakuza is similar to like the mob, or it's been romanticized to hell and back. So I don't know what it's actually like. I'm sure it's a lot worse than we think it is. I don't know. I'm just saying I wouldn't want my kid around there. So I don't know. But I have heard stories of them like after big natural disasters, like providing food and water and stuff to people. So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
I mean, I think they're just making these kids Halloween. What could be scarier than getting illicit, illegal candy from these people? Like, that's more in spirit of Halloween than anything else. Like, why are you crushing these kids' dreams? They just want to get the spooks, and they were probably getting them just fine. So I think it's a little sad, but probably safe. Doesn't hurt anything.
Well, I think it's a damn shame. And I think they should be able to do it just because they have the Gumi at the end of their name. Because like there's like Shinsen Gumi from like Rurouni Kenshin. These guys are called the Yamaguchi Gumi. I'm like, you gotta love it. I honestly, I don't know. If little kids are going to trick or treat at the Yakuza compound and no one's getting hurt, then I don't know. Just because they're Yakuza doesn't mean they're little kids. And the addicts have spoken. Even Yakuza were kids at one time. So
is this all future Halloweens or just this one?
Apparently, this is going forward. They're no longer allowed to trick or treat to have little kids come and get candy. So, a lot of aspiring future ruffians and Yakuza members are gonna need some other place to find their inspiration.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah, maybe they open up the candy and it's like advertising pamphlets to like get them in, like trying to get them young. Maybe
crazy. I can't. It's even bizarre to me that they like know where they're at and they have a trick-or-treating event at an organized crime facility.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
What? That is crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyways.
That's why I was attracted to the news article, because what? What in the fuck?
Sense to me. I don't know anything about it, so I don't want to judge. But to me, I think that's insane. But for me, I have my boy Rohan from JoJo's getting his own live-action adaptation.
Oh.
Look, the preview image is just It's got me knocking on heaven's door. It's good looking.
Oh, you.
Oh, she said it. She said it.
I'm excited. I want to watch it. It's probably going to be trash, but
Have you
it
watched
is.
the
Sorry.
Diamond is Unbreakable live
No,
action
I haven't.
ones? Okay. I have not
But
either.
It's different though because this is like based off of Rohan's side stories. So, I mean, he's just ghost hunting. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
How hard can it be to animate somebody's face turning into paper?
I mean,
He doesn't have the legendary hat hair, so they don't have to deal with that abomination.
He puts a little like upside down
Yeah.
Burger King crown on him.
Like the headband, but fashionable.
Yeah.
how does
He's
that?
good looking. I'm excited.
How does that work? Like you're animating some guy's face turning into paper, but at one point in time, anime started on paper. So it's like I'm gonna draw his face on paper, but I have to make it now look like paper. So, but shouldn't you just not fill it in or something because it's already there on the paper?
Rocky's just a god. You just can't think about it.
Well, that's some wild
What's in
shit.
that monster drink.
Nobody's feeling it.
Carbonated water, natural flavors, lemon pulp. Okay, moving on. That's really
Also,
the.
Shout Factory is bringing the anime Bartender to Blu-ray for the West for the first time, which I think is great. And you can pre-order it on Right Stuff. So it's also not streaming anywhere legally. So, but Bartender is a great show if you like it's far more mature than a lot of other things that I have seen. It's just about a guy who mixes drinks to solve their psychological needs.
He listens, and it's sweet, and it's slow. And
Therapy through alcohol.
yes, indeed.
No, I do highly recommend it, though.
Did you want to talk about the other one, or?
I could just mention it that they are bringing Fist of the North Star, the manga, into English for the first time. So I saw a lot of buzz around it on Twitter. People are really excited because until now, it's never been released in English. So look forward to that.
And I think they're doing it in the same style and size as the JoJo hardcovers, which are in really good quality. So, yeah,
I think
very
it's
hyped.
Viz Media. Yeah, Viz Media is bringing them out. So check that out.
My quick news story was just talking a little bit about the behind the scenes of why Attack on Titan switched studios for their upcoming 4th season, going from WIT to MAPPA, essentially saying, back when season 3 was in production, WIT was kind of just overwhelmed with the production and scheduling of it, and went to MAPPA, and essentially the producers kind of give, and I linked the article, but they talk about how they went to all these different studios who just said, we want to do it, we just can't or don't have the time or resources, and MAPPA essentially stepped up, and WIT was like, yeah, we're okay with it going to MAPPA because we trust them. So in my mind, as long as Sawano is returning to compose the music, which he has confirmed that he is, I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But you never like seeing studios swap with the show, but nonetheless, we trust MAPPA. So that's a little bit of news that we've got.
But if you had to swap a studio, swap between MAPPA and WIT because they're both great. So
yeah, we'll see how they do horses. That'll be the deciding factor.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for Steel Ball Run. I hope
David Pro.
Yeah, I hope they get that.
I have a couple of things to say about how horses are drawn in one of my impressions. We'll do later.
Interesting.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, okay. That's about it, I guess.
Moving on to our main topic. What have we been watching? Mason and I have books, so like book length of shit that we have watched. Mitz has the most out of all of us, though. Mitz, why don't you go first?
Well, I got really far in the Castlevania series on Netflix.
You haven't even finished it?
No, this is, listen. Listen, some of us are old and we can stay awake at night. And some of us
I am old and I stay awake at night.
And some of us are old and we put on like a TV show and we're asleep almost before the credits roll. So that is me. So yes, I'm almost through. I'm like almost at the end of season 3 of Castlevania on Netflix, and it is so fucking good. Mm-hmm. Everything from watching the fight scenes with Dracula to the events that happened after Dracula, the voice acting, just like Belnades, the girl, she's like super powerful magician. She's so fucking cool. There's so many violent like battle scenes with demons and humans. And it's like I almost just I don't know. I want more of it, to be honest with you, and I want to see more anime like this. Like, I want to see more anime done in this like dark tone with with just a great atmosphere, violence, and great action scenes. It's like I don't know. Anime is in a phase right now. I feel like where we don't have too many action shows, and if we do, they're definitely not dark and gritty like Castlevania. So, it just scratches that itch really well for those people that although I don't think Castlevania really classifies as anime by the excuse me, this is not done by Japanese people, so it's not the anime crowd. But it's still really fucking good. Like it's great. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's so just satisfying, and everything about it is top notch. And although I feel like a lot of people have already seen this because it's been out for a couple years now. So, but Castlevania is really good. Guys, listen. I don't watch all that many extracurricular anime. I watch stuff for the podcast, and that satisfies my appetite. But what I will tell you is that I've seen a bunch of the stuff on the list that you guys have written down. So, as usual, I will be able to weigh in. But yes, as usual, I am like
busy living a life.
Listen, no. What I was gonna say is that if the three of us are like horses pulling like a wagon, and the wagon is this podcast. And like written on the side of the wagon, it says,
Mitz is being dragged behind it.
It says watching anime. Okay, all right. There's enough room in the area where the horses are for 3 horses, and there's like these 2 badass fucking stallions that are Mandi and Mason, and they're in the front, and they're all like, I'm pulling this cart because I'm a horse, and that's what I do. Oh, and give me a carrot. And then Mitz is like crippled. They thought about shooting me like the day before, but they're like, you know what?
We ate you.
He can still fucking try. But in reality, like along the way, I fell, and I'm just being dragged behind the 2 stallions, somewhere between the horses and the buggy. I'm just like a mixture of limping along and being dragged through like the dirt. And at the end of the day, they're gonna shoot me and they're gonna eat me because this is the fucking Oregon Trail, and that's how things happen. So I don't know. I'm sorry.
We all have dysentery.
I don't know what to tell you. So
Oregon Trail always ends in dysentery.
Mitsugi suffered a case of Wit Studio, and he became that horse. And Mandy's up here by like studio bones or something, looking fluid.
So since you mentioned Castlevania,
Mhm.
I think last week, this Friday, I watched the entire thing in one day. 'Cause I did watch it when it first came out, and I absolutely loved it. And then you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, Castlevania is great. That would be a great thing to watch on Friday, and I watched the whole thing in one day.
It is great.
It's so good.
But why do you have to tramp your carrot munching, shiny coated?
Cut you
So
loose.
hard.
We've been dragging you dead weight for so long. We had to cut you loose.
Mandy's like, look at my mane, the mane and the tail. Yeah. They even named a shampoo after it. And then and Mitz is like, dead, and there's flies. There's flies everywhere. It's the humanity.
So, I don't know. How far did you get? How many episodes?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm on episode 7 of season 3. So I'm almost done.
Okay. Yeah, so you're pretty far.
Mhm.
19 of 22?
What?
That makes it 19 of 22 episodes watched?
I don't know how many total there are, but I've seen most of them at this point.
You're
I think
close.
the last season had 10. Was that correct? I don't
They're
remember.
they're short episodes, though. I mean, they're like 20 minutes.
First season only has 3 episodes. That was it. And then
okay.
second had
Okay.
I don't remember how many now. 8, I think. I don't remember.
I think it was 4, 8, and 10.
I'm at the part of the story where Alucard has been training the vampire hunter people for a couple episodes now. So.
See,
yeah.
I don't know how. I'll get your take on it after you finished it, because I know that you haven't played any of the games, have you?
No, but I have designs on buying the collections and going back and playing the old ones, kind of like how I did with Mega Man and Mega Man X. Because they have them bundled. It's like, oh, you can buy all of the Castlevania games for $40 and 2 collections. So I may do that.
This one starts at Castlevania 3 because 1 and 2 are both Simon Belmont, and this one they started with Castlevania 3. And I think the reason they did that, I mean, I'm not an expert on this because I haven't played every single game, but I think that they just wanted to get to Alucard as fast as they could because he's like one of the most popular characters in the series. So that was what I was thinking.
I like
And
Trevor.
So by the end of you mean Hector? Isn't it Hector?
It's
Belmont?
Trevor Belmont in the Caesar
Who am I
series in
thinking of?
Castlevania, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
the
thought it
smart.
was
He's a smart ass. I love his personality.
Yeah.
He's just like a total smart ass. So
But at the end, I'll get your take on it as someone who's never played the game because I don't know how I feel about what they're doing with Alucard. It's weird. I felt like
he's
I
not.
don't know. I feel like they're just like throwing shit in there to make up an excuse for maybe why he goes to sleep for 500 years. So like simply a night.
Well, I can't really speak to what happens after the point where I've seen it, of course, but he does seem a little not. He's not nearly as menacing as I thought he'd be. I'll say he's very.
No, he's never been like a bad person. Like he's always been a protagonist in the series.
Yeah, you play as him.
Anyway, but we'll see. But it's really good, people. Everybody should watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. I think other than just what they were doing with Alucard at the end of the series, everything else I've absolutely loved. But I think season 4 is coming out next year in March.
Oh, good. I'm glad there's more.
Yeah. And I think they have plans to make 5 seasons. I know for sure 4 is coming out next year. And I think they said that because season 3 did so well that they were like, let's go ahead and plan 5. But I don't know if that is like set in stone. But 4 is for sure coming out next year. But yeah,
Great.
I'm excited. You should definitely check it out. Netflix.
All right, well, let's roll into the stallion-esque, shiny carriaged achievements of Mandy and Mason, and I'll pitch in.
Well, I talked about Beast Player Aaron last time, and I finished it. I think I only had I don't remember, maybe 5 episodes left when I talked about it last time we did this. But Mason finished it, so why don't you start, and I'll just give some thoughts as well.
Yeah, and we'll probably speed round through it so we can get through all these shows. But Beast Player Aaron, done by the same author who did Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit, which if you have not seen, you should absolutely watch. Period.
So good.
Hard stop. Doesn't matter who you are.
So fucking good.
Watch it. So I went into this high expectations. It tells the story of Erin, this young girl whose life is intertwined with these various dangerous fantasy beasts, which are used as weapons of war between 2 kingdoms in this fantasy land. And it's a really cool concept, and certain episodes are phenomenal. But it's 50 episodes long, and I think it's a little too slow and repetitive to deserve some of the payoffs that it has. So, if this was 28 to 30 episodes, I think it'd be fantastic. But there's just so many times where they review what already happened or show flashbacks, and it's so slow and plotting that I can't strongly recommend it, despite loving moments of it a lot. I don't know, Mandy.
Yeah, basically the same. It has so much potential, but there's a lot in the middle that I was like, man, this is dragging.
Yeah, it really does. And then they made I think afterwards, they made a 10 episode summary of it, which is way too fast. So it's why couldn't they just find a nice middle ground? They have a lot of artistic moments, when the beasts are attacking, which are fantastic. Those are the highlights. The music is great, voice acting is great, and just some characters, some plot lines just don't need to be there, and it's fluff, and it just felt like wasted potential. So watch Moribito. Only barely recommend this if you want to see more by the same author, but I can't strongly recommend it.
It does have some really nice points, though.
Oh, absolutely.
It has some really nice episodes, and there are some episodes where I could just skip this, and I would not have missed anything.
But for the price of watching maybe 4 shorter series, I don't think it is worth it.
Also, I want to go back. I totally got my names mixed up. So sorry. Hector was the guy who was under Dracula. Trevor Belmont. I'm so sorry. I was thinking, where did I get Hector from?
He just wants to drink and sleep in his own urine. I mean, that's pretty much what he does.
Trevor?
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
it's funny as hell.
Yeah, and also Mason last time talked about Weathering Continent. I'm not really going to dive into it, but I did watch it. And for a very short anime movie, it's actually pretty good, a good fantasy series that has kind of a D&D feel to it. So, but I don't think it's anywhere streaming legally. So good luck finding it. But it was interesting though. It was from the was it 80s or 90s?
Maybe early 90s. It's on the opposite end of Aaron. Aaron was like great concept and potential, but just dragged on too long. This is a great concept and potential,
Too short.
too short, and just kind of like a jumping off point for nothing to come next. So you're kind of just left like,
Yeah.
it was neat. I don't know what to do from there.
Yeah. But yeah, Mason talked about it last time, so I won't like
It's cool.
repeat
It looks
everything.
Really cool. Good luck finding it. One show I highly want to recommend. Absolutely stunned with how much I loved it was Joshiraku. You can find this on High Dive. It's 13 episodes plus an OVA. This is a Kumeta manga, the same guy who did Kakushigoto and Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei. It's a story about 5 girls who do Rakugo, aka it takes maybe 2 seconds to do Rakugo each episode, and then they just go into their backstage room and have weird, ridiculous tangent conversations. This is probably the funniest anime I've seen in a long time. This is god tier, very meta textual, like talking about how, like, why are they even bother adapting this manga into this anime? It's just like a bunch of people talking, like, this isn't gonna work well, so they go to, like, the characters in the show go to the production company of the anime studio to try to cheer up the employees to make their anime better, and they get the wrong production place, and they're like, everyone needs to be cheered up every now and then. It's so tongue-in-cheek. There's so many gags that dive into like Japanese culture and mythology and location throughout Tokyo, and the translating work is so well done. This is done by JC staff, and it's character designs by Masayoshi Tanaka. So if you like the look of Toradora, it's a lot of the same looking people. So the ending song goes hard AF, and it's like a whole performance of a Rakugo piece in there. I just really was surprised with how much I loved it. So if there's one like big ups recommendation to watch the show, it's Joshiraku.
That's
It's
been
good.
on my list. I need to watch that. Is it anywhere legally?
High Dive.
Oh, nice. Cool. Alrighty. I watched School Days for the first time.
Oh my god.
Oh
And
my
I
god!
have to apologize because we talked about it. It was so memey. It was so bad. I was like, oh, we'll watch it together. We'll have like chit chat about, how bad it is. And then I heard your reactions to like the first episodes, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'll let you take this one.
Is
You
it
left me behind.
is it bad though? Is it?
Okay, look, here's the thing. It starts off kind of, it reminds me a little bit of that Doki Doki vibe where it starts off so like almost innocent, and then it progressively gets weirder as you go along to the end, which is like, kind of sort of like a horror style. Like it gets to a very extreme place at the end, which I think is probably like where the fame of it comes from. And yeah, this is my first time watching it, so
Could be.
sorry, people. I've never been spoiled on it before, except everyone told me there were boats. I was waiting for that sexy ass boat, but it wasn't in the Crunchyroll version. But
Wait, what?
I did watch it on Crunchyroll.
What?
What, the boat?
No way!
The boat wasn't in the Crunchyroll ver- Are you fucking kidding?
No, it's the actual ending.
They pulled the classic boat and switch on
They
you.
took it. The boat and swim.
But
So
what-
sad. I was looking forward to that boat.
So they censored it.
Isn't the boat the
Well-
censorship?
Wait, what?
Now I'm just
Oh no
picturing
no no
this-
no no no! You're thinking of like the boat at the end. I'm talking about the one where it was like they changed it while it was airing, and they just put up a boat going around, just
like
a
a
nice
live
boat,
action boat, not like a
like a live action
animated
boat.
like video footage
Okay,
of a
okay.
boat. But now I'm
Sorry.
picturing
Okay.
a censored boat is like
Okay,
a boat with like the hentai like mosaic over it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh no,
I get it. I thought
Give it to children.
I thought you were saying
Sorry,
that like
I
the
forgot about that. Yeah.
I thought you were saying that like the gritty stuff was removed,
No,
and
no,
I'm like, well,
that
what's the?
boat was in it.
I was like, what's the fucking point then? That's the whole friggin' point of the
But
whole
the live action nice boat was not in it, and I was very sad.
nice boat.
But yeah, it's something. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as people told me it was going to be. People told me it was going to be awful, and it really wasn't that bad. This is kind of like the main character is a dirtbag. He is just banging everybody. And this is what happens in visual novels. If you try to flirt with too many people, this is what happens.
Your expectations were too low. I think that's the problem.
I think it is. The problem is that I was expecting really hot trash, and for the most of it, I was like, I'm kind of bored. And then at the end, I was like, oh, cool, we got somewhere.
And listen, and if you're playing Persona and you flirt with too many girls, they all show up at the same time.
Yeah.
And they fuck your day up. And you know what? The same thing happens in The Witcher 3. So listen.
Exactly, yeah. You get tied to a bed and
Well,
leave you naked.
There it is.
Well, there it is.
But in this, you lose a lot more than just your clothes.
You lose your dick. They're going to cut it off.
It honestly wasn't as bad as what everyone told me it was going to be. I think the problem is that it was just boring at the beginning. It was kind of like a very typical, it's not rom-com. It's like a romantic drama-ish thing, but it was like so generic in the beginning. I was like, oh god, this is really boring. But then finally at the end, I was like, cool, we got somewhere.
Respect the
Trash
ladies.
doesn't have any impact if it's not on fire yet. Then it's just bad.
Do I have like a drop of like a dump truck backing up somewhere?
You had one.
Somewhere
Wow.
I do. Yeah, I have it somewhere. Okay. Yeah. School days. Wow. Better late than never.
I had to watch it. I mean, a
In
lot of
the
people are
words of
talking about the
Cheech.
visual novel, and I know the visual novel is like a hentai as well, like an erotic visual novel. And I said I was going to play that, but then I was like, I'll just watch the anime instead.
Next show I have is also actually another comedy. It's called Wakaba Girl, which is also on High Dive, which is also 13 episodes in an OVA. And I knew nothing about this show going in. They are 7-minute long episodes, and I found the show because it is directed by Masaharu Watanabe, which is the director who did Re:Zero. And I was just like, I don't know if I've seen anything else that this guy has done. And for the review, I was like, I want to see if I see his other shows, if there's any through lines to his style or storytelling or anything. So I went from Re:Zero with all its, twist and death and, sadness to this joyous, charming comedy, which is the story of Wakaba, who is this rich girl who is just trying to fit in with the commoners and become as she calls it, a gyaru, which is like the dressed up, dolled up, tanned, Americanized ideal of beauty in their society. She has no idea what the gyaru was. When she says that, she just wants to be a commoner and hang out with friends. And it's so sweet. It's so cute. I'd recommend it for fans of Hitori Bochi, but instead of being as dragged out for 22 minutes, the 7-minute length makes it punchy and sweet. And it's done by the same mangaka as Kiniro Mosaic, but it's more comedy focused. So think of like Lucky Star without the anime meta. It's just really sweet and it's relaxing, and I recommend it. And it's Wakaba Girl.
Cool.
I don't know. I have no idea how I stumbled on it. It's nothing like Re:Zero, which is why I think I liked it. Because for this guy to go from one to the other, but both be well done, I thought was impressive.
I have two anime that I'm gonna lump together because they both deal with topics surrounding death. So and I think that's just a topic in general that I think is very interesting because death is always like a very taboo subject, and a lot of people are very uncomfortable talking about it, whether it's like, what do you do, like what happens when you're confronted with the possibility of dying soon, or whether it's like what happens after you die. It's always a very difficult subject for a lot of people, and I think because of that and because I'm cool talking about it, that it's very interesting for me because I think a lot of really very unique ideas come out of that. So two of them, in both of these I had the exact same kind of feeling about is one was Plastic Memories, which came highly recommended to me, and it was 13 episodes. It's on Crunchyroll, was by Doga Kobo, and the other one was Shigafumi, which I have not heard anybody talk about. This one it seems like not many people have seen it when I was looking at it on Mao. And this is on High Dive, 12 episodes, JC staff. And both of them deal with just the topic of death in general. And I had a very similar reaction to both of them, where at the first couple episodes, I was like, this is really cool, really interesting idea. And then towards the end, I'm like, they lost that idea that I thought was really cool and interesting. And it goes in a direction that seems like completely opposite of what it was presented as in the very first couple episodes. So Plastic Memories, it looks good. It's a good looking anime, but this one is about like androids. There are these the AI in them is so advanced that they're basically humans, but they eventually they get to a point in time where the android will lose all of its memories and then attack people. So they become very dangerous. And so this team is set up together where they put together these teams of like a human and an android, and they go around to places where their androids are about to expire, and they kind of induce like a sort of death into them. They remove their memories, they shut them down, remove their memories, and they're wiped clean. And so I can either take away the android, so like kind of like gets to experience death, or they can just reformat it, and it just is like a brand new android. So I thought that was kind of cool because there were instances in here where it's like somebody got an android to be modeled after a like a child that they lost, and that was kind of interesting. Or if it's like an android that was taking care of kids, or if they had friends, like human friends, and people saw them as like kind of human. I thought that was interesting, and it reminds me a little bit of Ikigami in a way, although that one also had a very weird and stupid premise, like set up to like the actual like thing, which is it was a manga about the government sets up this program where they decided that one person was going to be killed every year. And so if you got this note called an ikigami, you knew that your time was about to come. And it was about like what do people do when they are presented with the knowledge that they are going to die in 3 days, that kind of stuff. So I thought that was a cool concept, but then it turns into more of a romance at the end.
Yep.
And
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
it went completely in the opposite direction of what I thought it was going to do. But it already had so many questions in my head. I'm like, because I guess I was thinking too much about it, and I probably shouldn't do that with anime, but I was thinking like, well, that seems dangerous. Why would they have androids that just attack people? Wouldn't they like take those off the market? Don't sell those
product recall.
Work out your bugs. What the hell are you doing? I don't know. It was okay, but
okay.
I think at the end I had too many questions. And Shigefumi did the same exact kind of thing where there is a spirit that goes around, and it collects letters from people who recently died. And if the person died with like a message that they desperately wanted to deliver to one person, then the Shigefumi would get a letter and they deliver it to that person who's living. And I thought that was super cool because like the first couple episodes were like not anything that you were expecting, because you expect that to be kind of like heartwarming, like a letter that says, "Oh, I love you," and say it's like murder victims and like crazy shit like that. And I thought, oh, this is so cool. Goes in the exact same direction where it's not like a romance at the end, but it's more about like what's happening with the spirit in general and like their backstory. And I was like, no, I guess I just wanted both of them to be episodic about cool concepts surrounding death, and that was me. I don't know. I felt like they both like tried to just push in an overarching story for both of them, and it didn't work for me. So, but I don't know.
I get you.
So I guess because I like shows like Mushishi, where each and every episode, like sometimes you get some that span 2 episodes, but for the most part, they're all really well contained, interesting, thoughtful stories in one episode, and you get a whole variety of them. And I think that's what I wanted. But if it does sound interesting for you, I mean, they're not bad shows. Like, they both look really good, and they have some interesting stuff in there. So, I don't know. Maybe check them out.
Yeah, we reviewed Plastic Memories, boy, probably like 5 years ago. So you could find it somewhere on an old episode if you wanted to listen to that full review of it. It was pretty good. It was all right. It's been done before, like the concept, I mean.
It's just weird. You think like, okay, look, guys, I'm sorry. I had so many questions of Plastic Memories. Like, all of this technology, you created such an advanced AI that it seems basically human. They can eat and poop and pee. These androids are super advanced. But you can't just put their memories back in. You don't have them backed up somewhere. I
Do-
don't
Put
know.
all
do
the
you-
budget into the poop feature.
Do the androids really
I thought
poop?
that was really weird.
I mean, maybe they just go into the bathroom and just sit there and act like they're pooping. Hmm?
She was. This
You weren't
robot-
there.
We call it data dump.
You weren't there.
This
Oh,
This robot was
oh my
like,
God.
I have to pee really bad. I was thinking, what? You're a robot.
R.I.P. oil.
It's weird.
Anytime an anime talks about pee, it's never a good look.
It's never a
Let's-
good time.
Let's be honest. Anyway, moving on. I'm gonna bundle these two together. These are both two
Yeah.
movies that are both about an hour long. One of them is brand new. It's Burn the Witch. It's a 1 hour movie. It's split into three 20-minute parts. This came out on Crunchyroll recently. It is pretty cool. Mandy talked about Weathering Continent earlier. You know, a short movie that had a bunch of great concepts in the fantasy land, but you're like, okay, that's cool. What's next? And this is kind of suffers from the same thing. This tells the story of a secret parallel world to London, which is where witches have to defend the city from these dragons. So it's got a very much like Little Witch Academia feel to it. And, you know, we have these two characters who kind of jump between worlds and use their witch powers to take down dragons and meet characters and adorable dragon doggos. And it's just a really cool world to be in. It's done by Studio Colorido, and they just continue to pump out stuff that is bright, airy, and fun to watch. I mean, I think they did that recent Pokemon like music video that came out.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I don't know if they did the music video, but they did the short OVA series. That was like 7 episodes. But Studio Colorido, their stuff just looks so inviting. And this, I was expecting it to be kind of like a Black Fox plus Fire Force plus Bleach. It's got a lot of the same aesthetic principles behind it, and it's a very easy, cool watch. But right now it's like, oh, well, if we want more, let's hope they make a season out of it, of actual anime, and we'll see what goes from there. But if you want something just light to watch, it's not a bad idea. So that was kind of cool. The other one is a 50-minute standalone movie within the Blood universe called Blood Last Vampire, which is telling the story of this like beast hunter dealing with an outbreak in a military base. It's done by Production IG, and it is moderately spooky, but it has a bunch of really cool animation cuts. So if you want something a little darker, a little more aggressive for the Halloween time, it's definitely got a cool vibe to it. So Blood Last Vampire.
Oh man, I remember watching Blood Last Vampire a long time ago. It's
It's
pretty
not
old.
yeah, like as a deep inquisitive thoughts on what does it mean to deal with the animal side of humanity or this and that. But if you just want some really cool moments of animation, particularly like in a school like nurse's office, that one specifically, like I've seen this a while ago and it just like popped into my mind, and I can still visually see it because it's so impactful. So it's all right. You don't need to see the rest of the franchise. I certainly did it, and it's an enjoyable little ride.
So long as it's not Blood Sea.
It's
That
Oh,
shit's
yeah.
fucking terrible.
not.
That one's pretty bad. So in the interest of time, I will talk about one anime, and then if we have time, I'll talk about the last one, which was I did watch all of Legend of Korra last week. Almost 2 weeks ago. And it's so good, but I do want to make sure that I get to this other one first. And I just recently watched the anime Moke, and I was actually really surprised at that so few people have seen this, and I never hear anybody talk about it.
I haven't seen it.
So Moke is a 24 episode series that was done by Madhouse, and it's not streaming anywhere legally, and that's probably why so few people have seen it. But Moke, it looks good, and it has a very, very similar vibe to Natsume Yujincho. Very, very similar. And is a story about these, a very episodic series about these two girls. One is constantly hunted by yokai. Like they, I guess she's just very, like not attractive, but I guess she just attracts them to her. And the other one can actually see them. And so it's, it has a very Natsume feel to it where it caused a lot of problems in their family. So they both go to live with their grandpa, who has a lot of history with yokai. He exercises them, and he has so much knowledge about them. So they're living out in like the countryside with them, with their grandparents. And I think when it first started up, I of course for sure preferred Natsume so much more, because that one actually has like each story in Natsume Yujincho like revolves around the concept of just loneliness, and it's all about him making friends, learning how to trust people, and every story kind of builds on that. But in Moke, I thought at first it was about like the sisterly bond between them, like in the first couple episodes, but I didn't really feel like much of a bond growing between them by the end. I was like, it wasn't exactly the more like heartwarming aspect of it. Like, I didn't think it was very heartwarming, but I still thought there were some really cool, interesting episodes in there. Minus one episode, which was so weird, about like an old woman yokai that's a little bit too touchy-feely with kids. I was like, oh, that's weird and gross. Minus that episode, I thought a lot of them were actually really cool, like just yokai stories in general. And you learn a lot about like the folklore in there as well, and bunch of different kind of old tales. And I don't know, it was an interesting show. I just prefer Natsume Yujincho more if you're like looking. But if you're looking for like a show that's very similar to that, find Moke somewhere.
Yeah, it's very methodical.
I don't know where to tell you to find it. And
cool. The difference is, like Mandi said, Natsume like fundamentally changes as a person with his relationships and his confidence as himself over the seasons. Whereas this is way more like episodic. It's pretty much Natsume, except instead of an alcoholic cat, it's just a younger sister. And the Ginkgo, the guy from Mushishi, is their grandfather. So like they have support. They're not like as alone.
A lot.
I know. It's crazy awesome. For the sake of time, I just wanted to call out, we did our episode of recommendations to listeners last time. And I just want to say, on Twitter and Discord, I asked for recommendations for me to watch, and I am getting to them. I'm about halfway through Wolf's Rain, Lovely Complex, Isekai Izakaya, and Gallery Fake. So people who recommended those to me, you know who you are. I'll be talking about them next time. So they're all pretty fun so far.
But yeah, I did watch all of Korra, and maybe I'll save that for next time, because I feel like there's a lot to talk about. It's so good. I mean, that's all I really got to say is I loved Avatar, but Korra is different from Avatar, but I still absolutely loved it. There were some moments that I think, like arcs, or I guess seasons, that I thought were a little less enjoyable than the others, but overall, it's animated so well. And yes, it's different time, like a different time period and a different Avatar, and the world has changed from the first season, but it was still so enjoyable and lovable. So I do recommend it.
2 syllables. Pa-boo.
And there's Pabu, who is a fire parrot. It is the best character. Look, this series has the best animals of all time, of all animation ever.
Wow.
Pabu's great. I love Pabu.
Pabu's up there. And with that, we have our first and only in-show news break for this episode, but we will leave you with some trivia to keep you occupied. That is, in the anime Higurashi, what is the meaning of the festival name Otanagashi? Yeah, I said that right. Anyway, we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Anime Addicts, this is Mitsugi, and I'm bringing you your anime news break, starting off with some news from Shueisha. Their Manga Plus service has been launched globally, and they have been releasing a little bit of information on Twitter about which countries have been using the Manga Plus service the most frequently. The top 10 list contain Germany, Peru, Brazil, Malaysia, Spain, Philippines, Mexico, Indonesia, Thailand, and the USA in that order, with USA being number 1. Lots of Southeast Asian countries on this list, and also some major European countries such as Germany and Spain. So we'll have to see how this sort of trend in usage and manga reading via the Shueisha Manga Plus service pans out as it becomes more prevalent around the globe. Next up, a little bit of news on anime films and the Japanese box office. For those of you that are big on anime movies, the Violet Evergarden movie stayed at number 3 in its 4th weekend in the box office with about $700,000 in ticket sales, bringing its grand total to about $12 million. It opened on September 18th at number 2 in the box office, and it had been delayed since clear back in April 16th when KyoAni postponed the film due to COVID. Also in theaters, the Eiga Crayon Shinchan Gekitotsu film, Crayon Shinchan Crash, Rakuga Kingdom, and Roughly 4 Heroes dropped from number 4 to number 3 in its 5th weekend in the box office with a total ticket sales of almost $10 million. Of course, Crayon Shinchan, the movie, lots of movies in this franchise, came out on September 11th, and as it was delayed from April 24th. And then finally, the Doraemon Nobita no Shin Kyoryu, or Nobita's New Dinosaur, climbed from number 7 to number 6 in its 10th weekend, going up, bringing its total sales to $30 million US, just showing you that Doraemon is king of the Japanese theater. Next up, in a wild news story, sort of, it looks like Japanese theaters in the country of Japan is lifting COVID restrictions due to the fact that the Demon Slayer film is going to be coming out here and on October 16th to the 18th, which is, well, the weekend that we are recording this. So there have been restrictions throughout Japan for much of the COVID pandemic, where theaters were both closed and then opened with 50% capacity. But as the Demon Slayer film is coming out this weekend, it looks like they have temporarily allowed audiences to pack the theaters in full, complete with drinks sold at theaters. However, food is not allowed, and also masks must be worn. But Japan lifting restrictions for anime, which is very wild. Next up in the news, it looks like the first Haruhi Suzumiya work, the first new installment in author Nagaru Tanigawa, the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya novel, the first installment in 9.5 years, is going into print in June of 2021. And also, it was revealed that the company Yen Press will be re-releasing Haruhi Suzumiya light novels under its Yen On imprint, and starting in January of 2021. So if you're a fan of Haruhi Suzumiya, Yen Press is giving it a bit of a revitalization, complete with a new work coming out in June. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, as always, it's time to get back to the podcast right now. Anime Addicts, as you know, this podcast recently became independently funded, and we are attempting to continue on funding this podcast with the help of so many of our listeners without having to play annoying commercials for underwear and razors and cat food and all kinds of other things that bore you and make your listening experience not quite what it could be. And if you go over to our website, aaapodcast.com/join, you can sign up. You can also do so on Patreon. And when you do, you'll get our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties. 8 total episodes of our podcast per month, just for you, just for saying a little thank you for supporting the podcast, because we do appreciate it so much. You can also go to our website, aaapodcast.com, simply across the top, and click the donate button. If you don't really want to sign up, you can just throw us a couple bucks, help us out. And if you don't have any money to throw our way, hey, we still love you. We hope you keep listening. We appreciate all of our listeners, and we love doing this podcast for you so much, as we have for over 11 years now. So hopefully we'll have another 11 years to come. I love you all so much. Again, if you want to help out the podcast, you can go to aaapodcast.com/join or Patreon.
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Listen, people today are spoiled as shit. I can go into my bedroom on like my Roku TV, and I'm like, which of these streaming services do I want to watch a variety of hundreds of anime from for literally almost no money at all?
Spoiled.
Like,
I'm just kidding.
Do I want to watch one of 10,000 anime off of Verve, or do I want to watch one of probably 500 anime off Hulu? fuck it. We'll just go to Funimation, and I'm just gonna like pull it up and just lay in my bed all day and watch shit. You don't know the pain of waiting for the DVDs in the mail. You don't know the pain of trying to keep track of them all and losing them. And then you don't know the pain of when you get a DVD. You're like, oh my God, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex Volume 4, the DVD. And you get it in the mail and you're holding it in your hand and you're like, I'm so excited to see what the Major's gonna do next. And you pull it out and it's like fucking Those Who Hunt Elves Volume 2. Someone put the wrong disc in the wrong sleeve and there you are. Now you're watching like guys hump tanks and shit. That is not what I signed up for.
It used to happen to me all the time. I remember I tried to rent the the Street Fighter movie ages ago.
Oh my God. Welcome back to the pod. Those of you at the bottom of the Gulf, you're scuba diving. Just listen to this music. Listen to the music as you watch the fish. Waterproof headphones. Do not sponsor this podcast. In the anime Higurashi, what is the meaning of the festival name Watanagashi? The Watanagashi Festival, literally Cotton Drifting Festival, is the largest celebration of the year in the rural village of Hinamizawa. In Japanese, so it means Cotton Drifting Festival. That's the answer. But in Japanese, the wata can also mean intestines, which has a different kanji, but it's still the beginning of the same word. And the festival began as a time to cast off the sins of villagers via human sacrifice in a very specific process. This, of course, is in the anime. Before finally being killed by a priest or a priestess who gouges out the victim's stomach and intestines with a large hoe-like dissection tool following an intricate dance, which you see in the anime several times. And so it has a double meaning, which Japanese people love that shit. Cotton Drifting Festival, and also part of that word hypothetically could mean intestines if you weren't reading it. So, as you know, Higurashi, because it's fucked up shit. Yeah. So, as you do. So there's a little trivia for you. Okay, and now you're gonna get learned, because it's time for Mandy's Manga Minute spooky edition. I believe we're still doing spooky stuff.
Yes.
Well, in that case.
I was waiting for that extra boom. This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I'm going to take a minute to tell you about a spooky manga that you can read for the month of October. This one is Kasane. Beautiful people are loved and revered. They have everything they desire right at their fingertips, even if that beauty is a complete illusion. Before Kasane's mother died, she was given a special tube of lipstick from her mother. She was told that if times ever got really, really hard, she should wear that lipstick and kiss whatever she really desires. Kasane is a supernatural drama written and illustrated by Daruma Matsuda. It is a completed series with 14 volumes total. And you can read all of these in English digitally. It's not available in print. Kasane follows the story of a young girl with a hideous face. She has been bullied in school all of her life and taunted for being the daughter of a famous actress. Her classmates vote for Kasane to take the role of Cinderella in their school play, hoping to humiliate her in front of a crowd. But she has a natural talent for acting and tries to prove herself to everyone, but is still mocked relentlessly. Kasane also has haunting visions of her deceased mother, giving her a tube of lipstick and telling her that if she ever has a hard time, just put this lipstick on and kiss whatever she desires. And after putting on this lipstick and kissing one of the most popular girls in school, Kasane realizes that she can steal their face. This brings up other questions though. Was her mother actually who she appeared to be? The first volume kind of touches on how harmful our beauty standards can be, and because no matter how hard Kasane works, her talent and achievements are always forgotten. And she has to stand on a line between wanting to steal the faces of her classmates and trying to find confidence in herself. And I am curious to see how her transformation plays out over the manga. And if it sounds interesting, this manga is also available in the Humble Bundle Terrifying Tales collection, which is where I got it. And you can get the entire thing, all 14 volumes, for $8 plus loads of other series. And we're definitely not sponsored by them. I just think it's amazing. And I'm just letting you know where it's at. Humblebundle.com. And there's also a Japanese live action film adaptation of this as well. So I don't know, might be interesting for Halloween.
Okay. The Manga Minute. It's a crowning gem in the crown that is the podcast tiara.
Also watch Mononoke because it's amazing.
And watch
That's where the music is from.
Yeah.
And watch Ayakashi Samurai Horror Tales as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Mailbag time.
It's time for an almighty anime
I love that segment, that
mailbag.
segue.
Anime. Anime.
Mailbag.
Don't forget to leave your mailbags at aapodcast.com. There's a mailbag button at the top where you can leave your questions or takes or opinions or whatever it is, and we will answer them. Today's comes from Yotaru Vegeta, and he writes, Annyeong haseyo, AAA, which I think is Korean for hello. What anime would you say looks dramatically different from their first season? It's hard to take a potential answer away from anyone, but the first season of, I'm just going to say Gintama, looks a lot different from the later seasons, which increased in quality. No need to have the audience guessing.
Oh, I see it now. Aliens meet Samurai. I gotcha.
Yeah. So essentially what shows over time, especially compared to their first season, have drastically improved or not looked as good as their original season. And it's kind of interesting that we talked almost about this earlier today with MAPPA taking control of Attack on Titan over Wit Studio, but the obvious answers are anytime a show switches studios, there is going to be a difference in how it looks, and whether that's just the budget that they have, the illustrators, but I mean, easy go-to examples are One Punch Man, Psycho-Pass, Gunslinger Girl, Hoseki Reitetsu, and even though I have not seen it yet, Seven Deadly Sins. So those are all like shows where there's a clear difference as the seasons go on. I think even Haikyuu is getting a little bit of that, but that's probably a bit more from the COVID situation than it is any kind of budgeting thing. Obviously, long-running shows, it's easy to see over time how things change. I'd say the new seasons of Pokemon look phenomenal from what I've seen posted online, especially compared to, what everyone knows and loves from their childhood, but especially the battles between stuff, it looks absolutely fire. So that's something where dramatically improved the quality of how the show has looked.
Berserk.
Oh my god.
Wait, there's only one season.
Oh
You're
wait,
right,
yeah.
there is only one.
Oh yeah, that one doesn't really qualify.
Right. There's only one Berserk in the entire
we don't
world.
talk about this, Mandy. We don't tell them.
Oh, sorry, was that controversial?
Oh, it was.
The existence of something is more controversial than our opinions.
Season 2 of Log Horizon also changed a lot because the studios changed. And it wasn't such a drastic change that you're immediately like, oh, this is completely different. But after you watch it for a while, you can definitely see there's a difference in the character designs. But I didn't think it was a bad change. I saw a lot of people saying they didn't like the changes in season 2, but I didn't think it was so bad that I couldn't watch it. They were just different.
I mean, that's kind of how Hoseki no Reitetsu was.
Mhm.
Like, it looked different, but it wasn't worse or bad. It just had a different feel to it. And once you get used to a show, it can be hard to switch. But I thought that show looked fine in both instances.
Yeah.
Let's see here. For my part, Initial D for sure. Looks like janky ass crap in the first season. Especially the CG looks terrible.
Cars.
God, they look awful. But by season 4, which really, or by, I guess I should say by Initial D stage 4, I guess it's because I think stage 3 is just like a movie. It looks a hell of a lot better. So, I think that Initial D got popular and they put more money into it. But either that or someone learns how to do CG better. Obviously, Dragon Ball Super is a low-hanging fruit. It's a fucking embarrassment. Like, some of the art in that was just a damn shame as a Dragon Ball fan to have to see all that. So that one definitely fits the bill. So, but there's like a ton of these examples, you know. So
Yeah, Azura Falcon in the chat says Overlord with the 3rd season, and Cobalt Robin says Full Metal Panic, switching studios. I mean, I'd say almost the whole show shifted alongside that studio switch when they went to KyoAni. It became much more of a comedy, but yeah, a lot of examples out there.
things just change. Like even if the studio doesn't change, like between seasons, you know, especially if like a long amount of time passes, staff can cycle in and out of the studio, and you know, you end up like anything can happen. You could lose a director, or you know, animation checkers, you know, whatever kind of talent leaves, or joins. So you know, all kinds of stuff can affect how things end up panning out. So good mailbag though. Appreciate that. And if you're not creative enough to write a mailbag, but you want to write a 5-star review for us, you can head over to iTunes, write a 5-star review for the podcast, and we will read them for you here on the show. So let's get to our 5-star review.
It's time for iTunes review.
Short and sweet. Claire Likes YouTube wrote, "This is so cool," with a lightning bolt. Wow. Thoughtful.
Thank you.
But thank you. I like
they're
it.
saying that this podcast is cool, or just the thunderbolt symbol. I mean, they're not wrong.
Oh,
either way.
well, they're
But,
not talking
I like
about
when
me.
I like when the drop is longer than the review, but nonetheless, it's 5-star, none the same, and I appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Up next, we have our website trivia, which we didn't get to earlier because we're only taking one break today. So the trivia, which you can go to our website at aaapodcast.com, scroll down, there's a picture there that is cropped from a particular anime. You can guess what anime it is from, then you can win prizes, and they also follow a theme. And our current theme, or our last theme, I should say, because we switched, it was Icy Rose's lesser-known favorite anime. And the answer for last week was Rune Soldier Louis. And this week's winner was Chibi Rob. So congrats, Chibi Rob, our friend.
Who moderates our Twitch with an iron fist.
Yeah. And the month winner was Soul Blade.
Hey.
So congrats.
Omedeto.
The next theme will be anime from the fall 2020 season. I also thought it was really funny because Chibi Rob pointed out that for Icy Rose's favorites, every time he put something up, we mention it in that show, but it was completely on accident. So, like, I mentioned Rune Soldier Louis, and every single one of his, we mentioned in the show completely by accident. We had no idea that they were what was on the trivia.
Completely unintentional.
Yeah, completely unintentional. So it was really funny. But congratulations, everybody.
Yay. New chance to win next month.
All right. And now the moment we've all been waiting for.
Today, we're going to be doing impressions.
Impression time, believe it.
That's right. And Mason, since you wrote down the new impression format. Wait,
Sure,
what? New impressions format? People are panicking.
New impressions. We're changing, rocking the boat here, people. Constantly trying to change up the game.
Moving,
from what you know and love
shaking.
to something even better. So, here's how we're going to do impressions for this season. And I want you guys to let us know how this works and what you think of it. So, you know, we can improve on it or, you know, do whatever it is to make this the best thing we can. So, on episode 543, each of us picked 7 shows from the fall season. So, over this and the next 3 episodes, we're going to give our impressions on those 21 shows, but we will not be failing any of them. Instead, each host is going to get 2 locks or 2 passes, essentially guaranteeing that we will review those shows. This results in 6 shows that we will do reviews on. That leaves us 3 spots available for you, the listeners, to vote. So essentially, back in the day, we would pass 8 shows and give a listener choice to get 1 show in. Now we're going to pass 6 and give 3 slots open for you guys to pick. So
if we have 6 that we want.
exactly, if someone's really not feeling anything, we might do only 5 shows, and then there's 4 open for you guys. But essentially, more than ever, your vote matters. And if there's a show you like that you want us to review, at the end of these episodes, we're going to have a big fancy poll. We're going to have it on Discord. We're going to have it Twitter. We're going to have it on the website where you can vote and give us our last 3 shows to pass. So
Yeah, the point behind this is so that we get to talk about the shows that we want to, but also instead of just passing shows that nobody watches, you guys have more of a say in like what shows
Listeners
you hear about.
Exactly.
Kind of like listeners.
Copcraft.
So we will mention that 90% of the time, a lot of shows that are past their second season will not be eligible for review or for voting. So if it's not on the poll, don't be like, why isn't the dungeon show? Why isn't Haikyuu on there? If we want to do it, we'll put it as an exception. But most of the time, by that point, people have already kind of developed their opinion on a show, or we've already reviewed it in the past, and we want to give new shows some appeal. So
Listen, and there was
Go
a
ahead,
time. There was a time in the past when we had a listener choice poll, and we still missed out on. What was that one fantasy show called that we keep talking? We brought up at our meeting with the Ancient Magus Bride. We still didn't. Oh, did we do Ancient? I don't know. There are times where
I think
we're
you're talking about Somali.
Somali.
No,
that
we
was
did
it.
Somali.
But that was because I
Flexed it
strong-armed it in.
There are times when even with the listener choice poll that we used to do, we still would miss out on something important. So we are leaving it up to you guys and giving you more control. That by letting you pick 3 shows, that the fan favorites, the ones you really want to hear, will get reviewed for sure. So, and then the rest of them you just have to suffer through like my bad taste. So that's but that's
Exactly. We can't be blamed anymore.
You can't have everything. Good Lord. All right.
So with that format, we'll start it off, and we'll start with Mandi for her first impression.
Yeah, my first one is The King's Avatar Season 2, which I don't care what you guys say. It's not anime. Guess what? I don't care. I'm doing it anyway.
She doesn't give a shit.
I don't. So The King's Avatar, I actually really enjoyed Season 1. And the first season, what was the studio's name that did it? It's not Tencent. Tencent's the one that puts it out. It was...
It's not Billy?
No, it's not
studio?
Billy.
I think that's another producer. Oh, I'm trying to remember.
I'm bringing it up right now.
It's the
but...
only studio brave enough to call out McDonald's for what it is. Not Whackdonald's, not McDonald's. It's McDonald's, people.
BC May Pictures.
Thank you.
But this one is that is one of the actual Chinese anime. So it was made in China. It's same station that puts out the Modal Zushi series, and so you can watch it on Tencent's YouTube channel. They put up the actual the official English subtitles as well, and it's available for anybody to watch on their own channel. But the studio did change, and changed to colored pencil animation design.
Say what now?
Yeah, but King's Avatar Season 1 was all about professional esports. It's about a guy named Yashahime. I apologize if I mispronounce names. I promise it's not on purpose. But he is a professional esports player, and at the very beginning of the series, he is let go from his team because they haven't been doing great. He was the captain, so they let him go because they said that either you take a demotion or you just leave. And so he left and decided that when they open up new servers for this game, he was going to join it, and he was going to build back up his own esports team. And that's the whole base, the premise behind it. And so he's working from scratch, trying to find people who are not in the esports world, recruit them and build up his own team. And Season 2 takes place after the OVA that came out, where in the OVA is very short, but it is required for watching this because there's a lot of esports politics in there between the teams. So there's some stuff in there that you kind of need to know for Season 2. But Season 2, the first 3 episodes are basically about him. There's a lot of team politics in this world. So he is building up his team, looking for more recruits. He's also joining this getting into a lot of areas where he is kind of manipulating material, like very important materials out of people. There's a lot of interesting things in here that's really like the way that it's animated is that it's kind of looks like it would be an isekai because they animate it so that his character is it looks like he's like the actual character in his game.
The avatar of the game is him running around.
Exactly. And it's animated in a way so it doesn't look like it looks more like a fantasy than a video game, which makes it more interesting to watch. But it does go back and forth between the video game and the him playing, and a lot of the relationships that he has with people in the real world. And I think that's something that I really liked about season 2 so far, is that there are a lot of scenes with him, like with his brother comes into town, and which I don't remember anything like that being in season 1. I thought that was really interesting. So we get to see a lot of his life outside of the video game. But he is getting into a lot of trouble with people in the game because before they didn't know who he was. He has a brand new avatar, but he is a professional esports player. So he's now making a name for himself because people are realizing this guy's a little bit too good. So he is blowing up. Now the other esports teams know that he's in there causing trouble. And so they're trying to get in his way and either take him down, but he gets through everything because at one point in the game, he is playing with another of his friends who's in his team, and he takes her mouse and he's playing with both his characters at the same time, and I was cracking up. But it's good though. I'm really enjoying it. I love this series so much. I think the only problem though is that I just don't know how many people who are listening have seen this series or are interested in it, because I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. So I am definitely going to keep watching it because I think it's great and I love it, but I need to know if our fans are interested in hearing more about it, like an actual review of it. So I think I will be passing it for, not putting a lock in, but I'm going to be passing it to the poll to see if anyone has an interest in it, because I don't want to pass it and have nobody watch it. So let me know if you have some hype behind it. But I just don't want it to be one of my locks.
And the game of the host trying to appeal to the audience to like check out their show so they get the picks.
Yeah.
No, it is a really good show, and you do not need to be a fan of like esports or know anything about it going in. It's much more about the political maneuvering and like people that play outside the game, and it's a ton of fun. Check it out.
And I was going to say the animation, because the team has changed, I actually think it looks better than season 1. But
who did the OVA? Do you know if it was the new studio or the old one? Okay, yeah, the OVA looked good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. It's really fun. Of course, if you're expecting it to be like very realistic, probably not, because there's one point where Yeisha is like 20 levels behind people and still winning, and I'm like, now that's a little far-fetched. I know he's a professional, and of course he's going up against a lot of new people, like newbies to the game. So of course he's gonna destroy them because he has a super high was it RPM? RPM,
yeah, like, or actions per minute or whatever it is.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
he's a one punch man. He's like, you never like are in fear of his safety because you know he's gonna pull it out.
But I have never played an MMO where somebody 20 levels behind somebody can beat them. That doesn't happen. But it is good though. It's a really fun series, and it doesn't have a lot of like the isekai tropes in it, and I mean, it's not an isekai at all. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it's one of the better like video game series that I've seen.
There you go. Mitsugi, show number 1 for you. What do you got?
All right, so I've got this little ditty called Kami-tachi ni Hirowareta Otoko, or By the Grace of the Gods, it is called. Done by Studio Maho Film, which I guess probably they intended to mean like magic film. And let's see, they have done not a lot of stuff, but that's probably because their studio is only like a year old. So they did the 100-man, what is this? What is the English translation of this? I'm standing on 1 million lives, if anybody watched that one. So
I have that one coming up.
Yeah, that came out this season, and then the other one that they did was from like way back in July last year. But so Kami-tachi, or By the Grace of the Gods, it's an isekai anime. You know what? We have a drop for that, don't we?
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
There we go. So the soundboard is smaller now. I can actually like find some things on it. So anyway. So Ryoma Takabayashi dies in his sleep at the age of 39 while working for a black kigyo, which is a black corporation in Japan, which means that they just like will work you till you die, basically, So just not the kind of place you want to work for. And he's like, I survived all these hardships of working for this damned company, and then I died from a brain hemorrhage. He falls out of bed and hits his head on the floor, and that's how he dies. But as he dies, a bunch of these gods basically like they appeal to him, and he goes and like has tea with them, and they're like, oh well, we're gonna bring you to this other world, and really it's because in order to do that we have to like take this barrier down between our world and Earth, and when we bring the barrier down, we're gonna suck a whole bunch of the magic energy out of Earth, because like no one on Earth uses any magic, but like this other planet needs it, but they're running out of magic power. So they're basically just like siphoning off of the Earth, but they have to open up like this little area in between the two planets to like get the energy to go through. And so they're using him, moving him from one place to the other as like an excuse. So he gets pulled over to this like isekai world, and he's reborn, I guess, as like an 8-year-old boy. And even though he's 39, and he has all his memories and everything. And he's given like certain powers, and he's pretty like well equipped. And this is like a magical world where like they have skills with levels, and like monsters evolve, and it's just like an MMO basically, sort of. And so he has powerful physical abilities. So he's like right off the bat, he's able to like kick trees and break them in half and stuff, even though he's 8. But he basically like lives in the mountains for the most part. So the anime like opens up with these soldiers that are tending to like a fallen comrade who's got like a big wound, and they don't have any magic power left. So they're like, we can't heal him or he's gonna die. And so this little kid comes out of nowhere, and he helps them with like a potion. And it turns out that he's been living in this forest for like 3 years, and in that time he's learned how to tame primarily slimes. There's lots of slimes in this. This is the slime anime. So
which you are a expert on, if I recall.
I am, see right here on Twitch, I have a slime tower. So it's slime tower from Dragon Quest. And I have a slime king, who's a big fat slime with a crown, and he's cute. And I have a slime knight, which is a little knight riding a slime. Okay? So don't
Mitch knows his damn slimes, people.
I know my fucking slimes, and we'll get to them later, because I got Dragon Quest coming up. And so, but these slimes are like, they're a little different. They're not as cute. They have utility. Like there's slimes that like to eat filth and stuff, and so they'll like they're good for like cleaning and et cetera, and there's a bunch of them. And so he's basically like he's good at taming monsters, and he has all these other magical powers that like essentially make him OP, like a lot of isekais, and everybody's like amazed by him. And now that he's been discovered in the woods, they want to take him to this town and introduce him to like various guilds. And so he goes to this town, and they take him to the Adventurer Guild because he has good combat abilities. And so like, much to my surprise watching it, he's like given an archery test, which he's like twice as good as Legolas ever will be. He's like pulling out 5 arrows at once and just shooting 5 arrows and hitting like 5 like skeet shoot discs like all at once with them. It's crazy.
Only
it's
counts
like
as one.
It's fucking Prince of Tennis shit. Like I'm gonna hit 12 tennis balls at once or whatever. And of course everyone's like super amazed, because he's 8. He's like 8 or whatever, and he can do all this stuff that no other 8-year-old can do. And the guy's like, oh, well, you're obviously going to join the Avengers Guild, but I can't really put you in there at a high rank because you're just a little kid, so I don't want to look bad. So like there's like 12 ranks or whatever. So it starts at like G and goes to S or double S. And so I don't think he actually joined in the third episode, but I presume that he will. And it's pretty okay. I mean, it's not like a cat girl showed up at the end of the third episode, which I was like, oh, and they look just like Mithras, like from fucking Final Fantasy 11, or in 14 they're called something different, but they're basically the same. And but she is so annoying. God, she's like immediately she's screaming and crying over nothing. I'm like, oh my God, kill me. And so, but it's okay. Like it's worth watching. The only problem I have with it really is that it's kind of, I don't really know where it's going. Like there's no conflict. There's no real. It just kind of, it's almost like a slice of life isekai story. And so I don't know if that's really what it is. It's not. Is it described as a slice of life? It is. It is. It's an adventure slice of life fantasy. So, he may just meander around the world, for the whole 12 episodes. I don't really know, but I think like it's okay if you want to watch it. If you like slice of life shows, if you're into shows about magic with little slimes and things like that, it's worth watching. The animation's not like gonna blow your feet off, but it passes, I'd say. And but like it's just not cooking my chicken all the way through. So I'm not gonna lock it in, but I really think it's pretty okay. Like it's worth watching for sure.
Vanilla is what he's trying to say.
It's very vanilla. Like it's just uneventful. It's borderline boring, but then it has moments where I'm like, oh, this is pretty fun. So I just don't think it's gonna go anywhere, and so I'm not gonna lock it in. And but if people that like isekai want to watch it, it wouldn't be weird. It wouldn't be like you're watching like bottom tier stuff. So that's about it, and that's By the Grace of the Gods by Studio Maho Film. So, and I'm done.
Nice. I've just been enjoying my nice peach, mango, orange, berry, avocado smoothie that my mom made for me. It's amazing.
Dude, look what I'm drinking. A tropical mango protein smoothie. What is happening?
I got protein in mine too.
Dude, we're both drinking mango protein smoothies. Did we just become best friends?
Maybe.
You want to do karate in the garage? You want to make bunk beds?
To make more room. There's so much room for activities. Anyway, the show I will be talking about today is Muno na Nana, which is Talentless Nana, and it's done by Studio Bridge, and it's streaming over at Funimation and in some regions YouTube. And I'm going to say right now, it's worth watching this show knowing nothing going into it. I'm going to reveal as little about the plot as I can, and then while I do, I will also be lying to you guys so I don't ruin anything in the meantime. But what this is Earth is under siege by monsters, and essentially to deal with this threat, special schools of students are compiled, and all these students have abilities, and they're called quote-unquote the talented. And these abilities have the they're essentially My Hero Academia without the animation. But it's these people with all these supernatural powers who are being trained up to fight these monsters that are wreaking havoc on mankind. And our protagonist is someone with no superpowers, but is at the school nonetheless. So, essentially, this is a mostly refreshing twist on a show. It's a fusion of, like I said, My Hero Academia with some Death Note, with some like death game manipulations. Like there's a lot going on. And while the animation isn't super fluid, it has a lot of comical moments where it has the almost like cutesy, chibi art style at times, and it really works. And the show is interesting and thoughtful, and it's a very fun, edgy show. As these characters just try to play Among Us in real life, and there's a ton of suspense. There's a ton of planning and schemes that go awry, and there's all these culprits. And people are trying to figure out who the traitor might be, or who a bad person might be, or kind of what they're doing there. And they're just clever enough to make things unique, and I like it for all that. The comedy, I think, lands pretty well. The characters are kind of interesting. The biggest problem with the show overall is that the characters are very stereotypical, and their powers aren't very interesting, but it's nonetheless edgy and fun, and I'm enjoying it far more than similar shows like Assassination Classroom, Classroom of the Elite, Danganronpa, or other things of that ilk. And if this had come out at last season, I probably would have passed it. Like, I'm genuinely having fun with it. That said, I am not going to give it a lock because comparing it to some of the other shows from this season, it's just not as much of a must watch. It's definitely not going to sit right with some people, but this show has no right being as enjoyable as it is. And it's kind of just a fun, turn your brain off, watch these characters scheme, and kind of every episode has been a big like plot twist in a not like earth-shattering way, but in how the characters kind of relens and view the world around them. So I've been thinking it's a ton of fun, and I urge you to give it a shot. So no pass, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless. And that's Talentless Nana.
Cool. I'll go to my next one, which is Yashahime, Princess Half Demon, or the sequel to Inuyasha. As Mitsugi leaves us, so now I don't have his input.
Something Shishomaru is good. Something Inuyasha annoying. Did I do it? There you go.
Well, this one is still Studio Sunrise, streaming on Crunchyroll, and this is like the future where after the events of the entirety of Inuyasha, and everybody has kids now. Everyone had kids, literally everyone. And this is the story about their adventures. And so
is this Boruto?
I think it's from what I've heard of Boruto, at least I heard that this one's doing a much better job than what Boruto did.
Okay.
From what I heard of people who have seen Boruto, I don't know anything about Naruto, so
it's the protagonist of before having kids now.
Yeah, I just don't know anything about it, but just from what I've heard, I see a lot of comments that are like, "This is how you do a." I don't know, but
believe it.
Yeah, it is on Crunchyroll, and the first episode is straight up just nostalgia. So the first episode, you are introduced to Towa, who is one of Sesshomaru's daughters. And there is a bit of a flashback where it shows like just a scene that is like after the events of Inuyasha, but before, I think it's before Sesshomaru or Inuyasha and Kagome have children. But Sango and Miroku did. So they have kids.
What? Are you fucking kidding?
They have
oh my god,
2 kids, I think. And one of them for sure I know because he's now a demon slayer. But Miroku and Sango have kids. And just the first episode is literally just nostalgia. It's like, hey guys, remember Inuyasha? And that's all it is. It's so it has just a demon that shows up, Kagome, Inuyasha, Sesshomaru, everybody's there. And it's all about them just having like that, like, oh, remember the good old times kind of thing. And they just hunt and kill this demon together. And I think what I did really like about that flashback though is that Sango, I think if I can remember correctly, because I watched this a few weeks ago, I'm watching it as it releases. She has 2 kids. And what I love about it is that they didn't like push her to the side and say, I am a mother now. I love that the fact that she hands her kids off. She's like, I'm going to go kill this demon, and just gears up and goes hunts it down with Kilala and her Horaitsuko? Her big ass boomerang.
I'm going to break my big ass boomerang again.
Yeah, it was great. It was definitely for fans of the series that are like, hey, remember this? Not so much for people who are coming into this fresh, who have no idea what Inuyasha is. You're not going to understand this first episode because there's a lot of history behind them. And there was a little bit of like a, like Kagome and Inuyasha are like still having that kind of debate about Dirt Woman. Shit, my
you
brain
gotta be
died.
fucking kidding me.
What's her name again? I forgot her
Oh
name.
my
Oh my
god. Kikyo?
Kikyo, thank you.
She doesn't even deserve to have a name. Just call her Dirt. Just call her Dirt Woman.
She doesn't even deserve.
She's
a name.
fucking dead. She's still walking around eating souls.
No, I don't know.
What, she ran out? She ate every human?
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen her show up in this yet.
God.
But they still have that kind of debate where, because I did see a sign that she might still be around, and Inuyasha's like, "Don't worry, Kagome, I still love you." Seriously, Kagome's still pissed. It was all it was is just a big like, "Hey guys, remember Inuyasha?" The story.
Listen. There are demons in Inuyasha far less atrocious than Kikyo. She's literally walking around eating human souls and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
with her
why
little,
is it... Songo, get off your...
dragon-looking things, like worm-looking things.
Yeah.
Like soul collectors.
Songo, get off your ass and go fucking take her out.
I love Sango so much. She's great. Man, Sango in the flashback was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
Anyways, that was the first episode. Second episode actually goes back to like our current timeline, where we are introduced to Towa, she is now living in present day Japan. And we do get to see a little bit of a flashback where she is sisters with she is the sister of Setsuna. And these are both Sesshomaru's daughters. But they don't really know Sesshomaru. They're just like, as far as I could tell, something stole their memories. But they're living in a forest together, and then there's this big fire. They get separated. Towa ends up going back, or goes forward in time to present day Japan. Setsuna gets locked behind, and over time, they forget each other. Towa is adopted by Kagome's brother, Sota. So he's an adult, he's married, he has kids now. He finds Towa at their shrine and realizes, oh shit, that she's from the past, and adopts her because she has nowhere to go. So he's raised her, and she's used to living in this present day Japan now, and doesn't really remember anything about her past. It just kind of blocked out over time. And so Setsuna, back in feudal Japan, is a demon slayer who is with Kohaku and Sango and Moroku's son. And so they're all demon slayers, and they're hunting. Remember that big ass caterpillar woman from episode 1 of Inuyasha?
I remember the spider girl.
It was like a big ass like caterpillar woman, but she's back, and they're trying to hunt her down. Midoha is Inuyasha and Kagome's daughter. She doesn't know either of them either. There's so many questions I have, and I feel like nothing's getting answered, and it's frustrating. Nobody remembers their parents, but there is something weird going on where we do get hints of, like, Kaede mentioned that Sesshomaru came and stole his kids back in the middle of the night, or took them away, and left them in a forest all alone. You're gonna say something? Mitz made his face.
Are you Kaede? She's still hanging around?
She's still alive!
She was like old as fuck in the last series at episode 1. Holy heaven.
She's alive. She's immortal.
She's a fucking demon too. She's eating souls. Now I know where Kikyo learned it.
Guess what? Kagome's grandfather's still alive. He's still kicking.
What? They are Japanese.
What's all these hey names? Kagome, Kikyo, Kaede. Oh my goodness.
I mean, they do live forever in Japan, so.
But there are so many questions, like when so they're fighting the caterpillar woman, and they get sent forward into the future because they're by the tree. And they all have this thing called a rainbow pearl that is inside their eye. If you remember from Inuyasha, he has that wasn't a shard, but remember his eye could like go to like his father's graveyard?
Nope.
You remember that? Shit! God, it's been so long, guys.
I'm not like all the way through Inuyasha, so I mean.
It was in like the first couple episodes.
Definitely. Well, you know how it is.
They each have a piece called the rainbow pearl. And so, but when they all get sent to the future, after they fight this demon and they all confront each other, Setsuna and Towa are reunited, but Towa instantly remembers Setsuna, and Setsuna is still kind of like, she is very much like Sesshomaru's daughter. She acts just like him. So she's super cold to Towa and is convinced she's not her sister. Moroha is just like Inuyasha. She is a troublemaker and loud and obnoxious. But she's kind of cute, though. Like, I think so far she has been fun, just very loud and boisterous. But Towa is wonderful. I absolutely love her. I think she's a great character. But there's so many questions. Like, all of them, like, Towa or Sota ended up adopting all 3 of them right now. They're all living at his house. And you think that he can tell that Moroha is Kagome's daughter, because they all mention it. They're like, mother said that Moroha might be Kagome's daughter. I'm like, you guys are all just saying that. You're not gonna ask where the fuck is my daughter? Something happened. Nobody's talking about it, and there's so many mysteries. I want answers. 3 episodes in, I don't have any answers. I'm lots of curiosities and mysteries and questions. So, I'm gonna keep watching it because I have to. I have to have my answers, but I don't know about passing it though. I don't know if I want my lock to be this one because I'm curious what the rest of the community thinks and how they're feeling about it. Because so far, it's hard for me to pass it off just the first 3 episodes because I'm getting a lot of questions, and I do love Towa, but I don't know if that's enough for me to like lock it in for a whole review. And I know it's scheduled for 24 episodes, and I don't know. They have a lot to cover. So, I would love to know what happened and why, like where everyone is. I don't know. I have no idea. So I don't think I want it to be one of my locks, but if I end up going through all my other impressions and don't have any locks, I might come back to this one because I'm curious what happens in the next few episodes. So for right now, I'm gonna pass it to listeners, but I might bring it back if I have nothing else.
Yeah, you can always revisit shows that you didn't pass to lock later or switch opinions. I dare say we may. I haven't floated this by you guys yet, but I think we should be allowed to lock each other's shows if we want to.
Do you want to lock in Yasha?
I'm not. Rainbow Warrior said pass it in all caps, and that is a very convincing argument, and I don't want you to overlook that. So
that's a fun idea.
I'm not going to lock. I'm just saying we can all lock whatever at any time. We can lock something from the past, from like, oh, if we talk about episode 2, we watch the rest of our impressions, we're like, I'm not really feeling it. There's no rules here, people.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that you can't. This is all fluid, but you can't lock more than 2 on your own.
Correct.
And if you lock someone else's, it doesn't count as their lock. It counts as yours.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And there are other shows I'm interested in. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Wandering Witch because I read the first manga and apparently they adapted the chapter that made me go, I don't know if I want to read this anymore. So we'll see. I'm curious. I have to watch it though.
We shall see. So far we have no locks from the listeners, but we have one show left. Mitsugi, lay it on us.
Yeah, well, I only have one thing to say about that, and it's Dragon Quest. You know what I'm saying? And Dragon Quest is great. So if you don't like Dragon Quest, I don't know what to tell you. But Dragon Quest is the pedigree of Dragon Quest. Oh, if it wasn't done by Toei Animation, because their stuff doesn't look so good. But man, it just hasn't for a long time. But Dragon Quest, the adventure of Dai no Boken, is as it's called, is the first Dragon Quest series we've had in a long ass time, and by that I mean like 30 years or something ridiculous. And a lot of these Dragon Quest movies and OVAs and even the past series and mangas, etc., they're all based on this Dai no Boken. So it's been told over and over again, but not for a long time now. And it's unbelievably shonen. And by the way, I don't need to really go into who Toei Animation is. I mean, they did Dragon Ball, they did, but they did friggin' everything, like Sailor Moon, I think, as well, and just like a ton of stuff. So Dai no Boken starts off on an island where a boy named Dai, if you can believe it, is just this kid who gets along really well with monsters and has this weird little like lumpy looking monster guy who looks like he's made out of clay, and he has a stick, and he is trying to teach Dai magic. Meanwhile, there's people showing up to the island for all sorts of different reasons. The first group comes to the island because they're looking for the golden slime, the Kin Sadaimu, and he's like this little cute little yellow slime with wings. And apparently, like, he'll grant like wishes or whatever. It's sort of a throwaway episode, the first episode, because it doesn't really connect to the second episode in any way as far as the story. But they have like an introductory episode where Dai like protects the slime, and he's protecting the people on the island and the monsters. And then the second episode comes along, and which is where the story really starts. And this princess and this like chancellor, or he's like a chancellor or a priest or a pope or something. He's and Dragon Quest always has like churches in it where you like save your game data, and there's always like priests and stuff like that in it. And they come to the island, and because they're looking for the hero, and that is going to save the world, and that's basically like the story of a lot of the Dragon Quest games, etc. And while they're on the island, the Chancellor, as I'll call him, takes the opportunity. What is he really? Is he even in the cast list here? He's not. No, I don't even see him. He's not a very prominent character, I imagine. He tries to kill the princess on the island because he says that if the princess gets killed on the island, then there will be no one to inherit the throne, and by proxy, he will inherit the throne. So, which is they're taking a lot of risks putting the princess on the island with someone like that. And she's super cute. The designs in this are great. I want to focus on the female characters. They look cute and they look good without being sexualized. So like they're cute. Like they've got the princess's outfit. She's got like little flowy, like see-through sort of like flimsy little like frill cape thing with a crown and a cute like tunic that is kind of goes like half thigh down, but it's not like they're not sexualizing her, but she looks really cute. I really like the character designs of generally everything in Dragon Quest. I just think looks great. It has like a specific look to it, and you can just tell that it's Dragon Quest from just looking at it. And the princess gets poisoned because this guy who's helping the Chancellor summons like a scorpion monster that basically poisons the princess, and then Dai fights it off. And then, but there's like almost no one that can cure the poison on the island except the glumpy clay monster guy who's been trying to teach Dai magic all this time. And meanwhile, like Dai and the princess are separated off in this other part of the island, and then they're trying to kill the lumpy guy, like on the other side of the island, because they know he can heal the princess. And so they summon like a killing machine monster, which is like one of the big. It's probably like a level 40 or 50 monster in Dragon Quest. Like it's a pretty tough monster, so I'm kind of surprised to see it so early in the story. But they're like, oh, this monster was created to defeat the hero, and and so it's difficult, and the lumpy clay guy's trying to fight it off with magic, and he can't because he's not strong enough. Meanwhile, Dai shows up with the princess. He's carrying her, and they end up getting into a huge fight. And Dai saves the day, is awoken to magic power that he didn't know how to tap into before, even though he's... it's a little like Goku or Gohan, I guess, where like something he's needed very badly in a moment. And in a moment of passion and need, he finds his power, but then when he's like trying to train subsequently in the episodes, he can't like do jack shit until like someone dies or someone's like, life is in danger, and then he rises up as the hero. Episode 3... a guy who looks exactly fucking like the first training guy in Hunter x Hunter with like the long legs who's making them walk, shows up.
But they have a wonderful mustache, by the way.
He doesn't have a mustache, but he has the same kind of like outfit, the same curly looking like hair, glasses. It's fucking hilarious.
Legs for days.
Although I would venture a guess that this character probably predates Hunter x Hunter by like almost 25 years, but but they're not obviously based on each other. But it is weird. Like, I feel like Hunter x Hunter doesn't have a lot of characters that look like that in it. But there's like that one guy. And he shows up and he's like, I have been looking for you. You are potentially the hero, and I want to train you and help you reach your potential. Training episode begins. So it's very shonen, but it's a lot of...
Huh?
Yeah, we all know he's going to be like the hero. And because Dragon Quest is not complicated. It's basically, as the third episode alludes, a story where the Dark Lord is reborn, and the hero rises up and through his journey gathers comrades that will help him defeat the evil. And so in the third episode, the Demon Lord awakens, and all the monsters across the entire world, including the ones on the island, turn evil, and they're trying to kill each other and kill everybody. And when the guy who looks like the dude from Hunter x Hunter, his name is...
Hunter x Hunter is Satots.
His name is Avon.
Whoa, Mandy, didn't we discuss this? It's Hunter x Hunter from now on.
Hunter x Hunter. In Hunter x Hunter, his name is Satots.
In this, his name is Avon de Zinir III, who was...
Satots may have been modeled off of him. I wouldn't be surprised.
Maybe.
And loves a lot of RPG stuff.
Yeah.
Hence Nen.
Yeah, I mean, in the game inside and Green Island. So And so Avon is super fucking powerful, and he like makes a barrier around the island that keeps the evil out, and all the monsters turn back to normal. Training episode begin, and so it's simple. It's a simple story. It's shonen as hell. It's fun, but but it has that Dragon Quest pedigree to it that's gonna make it popular in Japan, and that's why this keeps coming back over and over again. Dragon Quest probably the most popular RPG series in Japan. It has been for a long time. Even more than Final Fantasy, I think. And this show won't be for everybody. It's a shonen anime. Like if you're not into shonen, if you're not wanting to watch a show where a kid who's gonna remind you an awful lot like Gon, is kind of like I'm a cute, like lighthearted. I'm like a pure of heart character who has black hair and I'm gonna save everybody.
Can do attitude.
Yeah, if you're not really into exactly like I want to train really hard. Like if you're not into that shonen stuff, you will hate this. However, I love Dragon Quest, and I am spending a lock on this because I love Dragon Quest.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
There you go.
I'm gonna have to play some not Greed Island. Hunter, stuck in my brain. I'm gonna have to play some Dragon Quest before you watch this.
And the Dragon Quest games are fucking amazing. Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2 will blow your feet off. Dragon Quest 11, which just came out on like PS4 and Switch and stuff, that game is freaking great.
That's the one I was playing.
Like they're all good.
Builders as well.
Dragon Quest Builders is good.
New. Yeah.
Dragon Quest Builders is fun if you like Minecraft. I mean, there's a ton of stuff, and it won't be for everybody. But if you like shonen, you'll like it. If you don't like shonen, you'll hate it. Simple as that.
3 quick things. Number 1, Dai is spelled D-A-I, so that's he's not saying die in that way. Number 2, Mitz has still been wearing the Pope hat this entire episode.
Oh yeah.
So
you better fucking believe it.
Particularly blessed. That's why. And number 3, I have played a little bit of Dragon Quest going into it, but I don't think you need to know anything about the franchise. And episode 1 of this looks so good. Watch it for the animation alone. So yeah, check it out.
So.
I just want to play 11.
Yeah. But this visually looks astounding.
Is Maisa Totes in 11? Is he in that?
No.
Oh.
Well, there might be characters that look like him. There's an. I do think that I can't remember all the characters' names, but there's a character in 11 that I think you will really get tickled by. So.
That's what I've heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he will walk around with like a peacock feather. Like thing and do like parades and shit. He's fucking wild. So
hey,
I'm already in love.
How many clowns?
How many hot clowns that take off their clothes are there?
At least honestly, probably
At
not.
least
Probably
one,
not.
You'll get her signed up.
I'm so excited.
Well,
Where's the mod? Where's the Hunter Dragon Quest mod?
Hunter.
And by the way, and as Mason said, it looks better than I thought. And the action scenes are pretty fun. So,
yeah,
I'm not disappointed by it. I mean, it's not friggin' KyoAni here, but but it's good. It's definitely good. So.
Chat earlier said I was being too hard on Inuyasha, like not the series, but the character. Like I'm just joking.
Kagami.
That was actually pretty spot on.
Oh no, I'm actually concerned now.
I don't know how she tolerates that bullshit. I mean, he is. Man, he is wow. I'm more surprised by Sango. She just completely
Sango is wonderful.
Yeah, except she should have kicked Miroku to the curb.
Agreed.
Ages ago.
Agreed. Yeah. Where is my Inuyasha where Kagome and Sango end up together?
All right. So that's about it.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you for joining. And if you would like to find us on our social media accounts, I am Mandi x Mandi. What about you guys?
You can find me over at Macy Pacey.
Yeah, and I'm at Pope Mitsugi. And as the chat said, Azure Falcon said the character you'll like, Mandy, is named Sylvando, and he is.
Oh.
He is fucking wild. He is wild.
Oh, Sylvando. Hello.
Yeah, the Dragon Quest designs, the characters look great. So.
I'm excited. So please find us on all of our social media accounts, Facebook. Go to our website to find our Discord button there, and you can join up all of our clubs. Manga Club is October 28th, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. And we're still doing our Halloween club. So we're doing 3 Halloween kind of themed manga. We're reading PTSD Radio. We are reading, what was the other one? Oh, I forgot the name of it. I apologize.
PTSD was the only one I remember because I've seen that one.
We are reading the Corpse Delivery Service, and the other one, because it's not available like anywhere legally, it's Miruko. I almost said Moroku. It's like Mieruko. But if you join up our Discord and talk to, you can check the pin note there to find all the details that you need.
Anime Club, we're discussing Serial Experiments Lane on October 21st. You can find that show on Retro Crush, and we'll be having the discussion at 10 p.m. EDT. We also have a monthly movie watch party on October 23rd. We're going to be watching the movie Wild Zero. This has the built-in drinking game, so I'm expecting nothing less than utter mayhem. So if those sound interesting, stop on by, join the Discord, and we'll welcome you right in.
And I believe we are about to do an after party.
Looks like it.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We'll continue our impressions next week, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. And stay safe. Love you guys. Thank you for supporting us.
Bye.
Have a good one.